So usually what happens that when it comes to any workshop, so we need to know what we are going to discuss in this workshop. And I request all of you to stay. Maybe we could exceed some minutes because there are so many contents which I would like to share with all of you. The first thing is there are three containers which we are going to open today. The first container is of oxygen container. I named it as oxygen container. Oxygen container means why do we want to learn English? Absolutely. This is a very nice question. And if you get your proper answer, the chances are you can excel in English communications. Second one is we are going to talk about the second container. The second container I named as cookie container. Cookie means something which we eat. And in this cookie container, we are going to talk about the mindset. And in third container, which I named as dumbbell container. Dumbbell container. So we are going to learn some practical tips and tricks which will help us to gain the fluency as we go further. But before we proceed, I humbly request all of you to kindly keep your audio muted so that any unnecessary hurdle can be avoided. So this is one sentence which is written in front of you. Is möchte, fließend, English is sprechen. Is möchte, fließend, English is sprechen. I don't think when this sentence first came in front of me, even I couldn't recognize. What was it? By the way, it is a German language. And it means I want to speak English fluently. Now, I was shocked that this is something which we keep on speaking every single day. Yet in German, I do not know the meaning of it. Why? Because this is not, I am not inclined towards it. This is not my reason. This is not my why. Why do I want to learn German? I do not need to learn German. That's why I do not learn it. And that's why I'm not inclined towards it. But when it comes to English, is it so that our reasons are clear? Let's talk about one story of mine. What happened that during graduation, it was my first day. I was actually asked to give my introduction. While giving my introduction, what happened? That there was a professor and he asked me that what is your name? And I was so nervous. I had zero confidence. I just stood and I told that, sir, my name is Arindam sir. Sir, my name is Arindam sir. And people started laughing on me. I couldn't recognize why. Well, later on I recognized that, sir, I am Arindam sir. Since I have added sir after my name, hence people started laughing on me. It was a very painful act, by the way. I was academically good. There's no doubt in it. But when it comes to English communications, I was zero, totally zero. But still, since at that time I was not matured enough to understand, so I didn't pay any attention to that. But later on, when I qualified my exams and went for the interview, my first interview, I had first division honors degree in my hand. But when I went, I was plainly rejected. And they told me that your communication skills are poor and you need to work upon it. You have all the skills, but because of your communication skills, we cannot allow you to go ahead with our job. When I came back at my home, it was one of the painful acts because my parents spent so much amount of money on me. And just because of this language, I was not allowed to even sit in the interview. I was plainly rejected in the first round only. So on that day, in fact, I decided that let me learn this language. Let me understand. It's been 5 years now since that event happened. And never in my wildest dream I thought that I could teach English. In fact, I do not teach English. I learn English every single day. I consider myself as a student of English. So why? And because of this English, right now, I am making money. There's no doubt in it. Right now, I'm getting respect, which I always wanted. And right now, I am happy. So professional success is something which definitely you are entitled to get if you learn English. There is no doubt in it. But there is one more thing which you get when you speak in English. As you could see, there are so many umbrellas. There are so many umbrellas in front of you, but only yellow is shining. Why? Because when you speak in English, when you communicate in English, you get attention. And when you get attention, only leaders get attention. And as we know, that leaders are somebody, or leaders are people who actually reaches the top of the avenue. So you get two advantages. The first one is professionally and personally you get success, and second one is you create your own identity. These are my reasons. I would like all of you after the workshop, think of your reasons. What are your reasons behind learning English? And please, I would like all of you to kindly mute yourself so that disturbances can be avoided. So these were my two reasons why I wanted to learn English. Are your reasons clear? After the workshop, just be honest with yourself. Take a notebook and pen and do not think of the advantages. There are so many advantages, but what are your reasons? My dear friends, in 95% of the cases, our reasons are the first thing which prevents us from being a good communicator, a better communicator. So please work upon your reasons. Well, these were my reasons. Now let's see. Let's go ahead. So we talked about the oxygen container. Oxygen container means reason why. Why do we need to learn English? Now let's go ahead with our next container. The next container is all about mindset. Mindset. Now there are three mindsets that I am going to talk about today. Let's unfold them one by one. The first mindset, let me go back to my childhood days. You need to accept one thing, that English is a language. And when it comes to language, don't you think that somehow our childhood really impacts the way we speak? If I talk about the accent, if I talk about the pronunciation, well, of course, childhood has a lot more thing to do. That's why in 90% of the cases, people do not accept that they are not good at English. So lack of acceptance is there. And until and unless you do not accept, the chances of you going ahead, definitely you will grow, but not, you will grow, but you will not thrive. Thrive means you will not multiply. Grow means if I add 10 plus 3, then it will become 13. But if I multiply 10 by 3, it becomes 30. That we call as thrive. So you are not going to thrive if you do not accept that you have to learn English. You have to accept that yes, I am not good, but yes, I can be good. I am not good, but I can be good. First thing. And of course, this is definitely going to give you an edge in your professional life. Nothing to talk about it. And there is an invisible switch which we already need to know. That once you enter into the corporate world, this invisible switch will help you to gain confidence and to perform at your level best. Let's talk about the second part, to which I would like to tell one of my stories. And please, I would again request kindly remain muted so that others cannot be disturbed. So if I talk about one incident, what happened? That during my first office days, when I was selected, my English was literally very poor. So my boss asked me to write one email. my boss asked me to write one email, and that day I still remember that some reward or some reward ceremony was there. So a teaser message was, I was supposed to send a teaser message so that my colleagues would know that what this message is all about. So the message was like this: please be ready. You are supposed to get a message which will excite you. Message. You are supposed to get a message which will excite you. Now in spellings, I was poor. In spellings, I was poor. So instead of message, I wrote massage. Massage. So kindly wait for a while. In a few minutes, you will get massage which will excite you. and in the bottom it was written regards, then the boss's name. And I was a subject of laugh for everyone. Message became massage. Such a painful and shameless act. So when it comes to learning English, believe me, there are people who are sitting and they are there to identify mistakes, to identify flaws in your speaking. Now it is your job. If you take it personally, you will not learn this language. But if you become shameless, you are going to excel in your English communications. So become a shameless person. Shameless. If you become shameless, just like the way I became at that point of time, because I laughed, I smiled, I giggled. Why? Because I became the reason for everybody's laugh. People actually smiled. You know how corporate world is. People do not smile, they just work like robots. At least I made them smile. So I was shameless. This is the second thing which you need to keep in your mind. Become shameless. People are going there. People are there to identify your mistakes. Let them. You should continue your work. Become a shameless person. Let's talk about the next mindset. The next mindset is, usually I have seen people, what they say, that English is, this person is a very good communicator. He is an inborn speaker. Well, as one of my friends told me once, that no one is an inborn speaker, only babies are born. And that's so true. This is another excuse which we make when it comes to English communications. So always remember that when it comes to English, it is a skill just like any other skill. Like swimming, if I talk about swimming, if I talk about dancing, how people learn how to dance. They learn the steps. From initially, they do not know how to dance. But with passage of time, they learn this skill. If I talk about singing, they follow some tips and tricks and they learn how to sing. And the same thing is with English as well. No inborn skill. With time and with proven techniques, you can develop your speaking habits. So this is the third mindset which you need to have in your mind. Be a learner. Always open to learning. If somebody is pointing out your mistakes, thank that person. Because of him or her, you learned one thing. This is called shameless. Do not be rude upon anyone. Learn from everyone, but while doing so, become a shameless person. So these are three mindsets. And believe me, mindset is more important than skill set. If you do not have this cookie container, which I talked about, cookie container, this mindset, believe me, the journey is going to be longer. Of course, you will learn English, there's no doubt in it, but journey is going to be slightly longer. So mindset is required. So ladies and gentlemen, before skill set, you need to acquire the mindset. First, clear your why. Why do you want to learn English? Second, you need to apply these three mindsets. Once your mind is set, the platform is there. Now you can apply English speaking techniques. So we will be talking about mindset definitely. But before that, I would like to show you this. One tree. What happened? Initially, the seed was planted. Then after that, I I was the caretaker. I went over there. I poured the water. I watered the plant and it grew very nicely. Very nicely it grew. And I still kept on watering the plant. But after a while, this plant died. I was quite shocked that I was continuously taking care of the plant. I was continuously watering the plant. But what happened wrong? The plant grew, it became tree, but after a while it died. Why? Because I was wrong with my basics. Initially, when the plant was small, when I watered the plant, it went to the roots, and that's why it became tree. But when it became tree, instead of watering the roots, I still kept on watering the leaves, the plant. And that's why after a while, this tree completely died. And the same happens with our English communications as well. We do not focus on the roots sometimes, in fact, most of the times. And that's why we lose our grip. We always look upon the leaves, like if I talk about vocabulary, if I talk about grammar, we always run behind these things. But we forget the basics, the roots. And root is all about mindset. Work upon your mindset, because this is the field. Mindset can be treated as a field. And in this field, of course, you have to graze the field. Don't we graze the field before putting any seed? So you need to graze this field. Once you graze the field, then of course you can put the seeds of grammar, vocabulary, and automatically it will sprout. But if you do not graze the soil, do not graze your mind, do not prepare your mindset, whatever you learn, the chances are you will forget after a while, and again you will be back to square one. Just like the same happened with this plant. The situation was same, sunlight was same, air was same, yet the plant died because the roots, the basics were not clear. Now, what I believe that if you learn English, then you get global opportunities. You get multiple opportunities to present yourself in front of delegates. And this language only will make sure that the position that you are in right now, it can take you, elevate you, and it can give you the benefits that you cannot even realize. I have heard somewhere that in Hindi, I would like to use a little bit Hindi because, it will sound quite awkward, but I heard about this. The sentence was this: अंग्रेज तो चले गए, अंग्रेजों का डर नहीं गया. तो डर अंग्रेजों से है या अंग्रेजी से? डर अंग्रेजों से है या अंग्रेजी से? Well, what happened that Britishers, they went out of India, but the fear of English men did not go out. So we attached the same feeling with English. And this is what is happening right now. Fear, I guess fear is also termed as the worst enemy that could come in your life. And what we do not face fear, we just avoid fear. This is what happens when it comes to English communications. We feel that if we know some good words, vocabs, grammar, sentences, then we will become a good speaker. No. Until and unless you do not work upon your fear, that is fear of public speaking, you will not be able to thrive. Do not avoid your fear, face your fear. How is it going to happen? Of course, English Times gives you the platform for that, where you come, you do share your experiences, you speak with your subordinates. Automatically your confidence elevates, isn't it? Because while teaching at English Times, I really learned a lot of things. And I hope every one of you also do. So let's look into the third container. The first container was oxygen container. Why? We talked about it. The second container was about the mindset, the cookie container. And the third container is all about dumbbell container, because we need to practice. Now there are some ways. If you do not do the exercise in the right manner, then it is going to de-shape your body. Your body will not come under shape, it will go beyond shape. So you need some tips and tricks. Again, the dumbbell exercise is something which only you have to do, and as a trainer, as your exercise, as your gym trainer, I could say, English gym trainer, my job is to share the proper diet chart with you so that you can learn how to burn your calories. Burn your calories means burn your doubts, like fear and all. Don't allow these things to come in your mind. Mindset, that is why what I already talked about. So let's start one by one. The first one is, these are tips and tricks. You can write it down in your notebook and pen. You can write it down in your notebook. These are very small points, yet most effective points. First one, speaking without hesitation does not mean speaking quickly. No. Speaking simply means that the speed of your English speaking should match your speed of speaking of native language. The speed at which you speak Hindi, the speed at which you speak your native language, your speed of English speaking should match that level. If it is happening, you are absolutely in the right track. This is your first important thing which you need to keep in your mind. Now the mind is ready to be graced. This is the first seed. Put it in your mind that I have to match my speaking, my English speaking speed with that of my native language, which could be anything, Odia, Hindi, anything. Next one, focus upon the smoothness of your speech. What do I mean by smoothness? Usually what happens that while speaking, we speak so faster and we feel that speaking faster simply means speaking fluently. Only nervous speakers speak faster. Do look upon the TED Talks. Do look upon the public speaking championships. Do they speak faster? No. They have to speak in a limited time frame, in 7 minutes, yet they speak slowly. They sound very natural. They use very good and sweet vocabs which can be understood by people, yet they become profound speakers. How? Because they focus upon the smoothness of your speech. How is it going to happen? There is one tip which I would like all of you to do. Open any book of your choice, read any paragraph for at least a minute or two, put your mobile phone on, then put on the timer, record what you say. After that, check out in a minute how many words did you speak. How many words did you speak in a minute? Usually, as per the Cambridge University, and it is practical, I'm not speaking on theoretical aspect. In a minute, usually you should speak 125 to 130 words. This is called the definition of fluent English speaking. 125 to 130 words in a minute. Read a book, record yourself, then check in a minute how many words did you speak. Because this is something which only you can do. You know yourself better than anyone else. That's why, do it. And if you are speaking faster, try and speak with your mentor. He will give you exercises which will help you to reduce your speed of speaking. Focus upon the smoothness of your speech. Is it clear, everyone, so far? Is it clear? Any confirmation? Are you enjoying the session?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about the next one. Avoid using a lot of fillers. My God. Now what do we mean by fillers? While speaking in between, I have observed so many times people say, okay, actually, so I mean to say what I meant. These are called fillers. Usually we use fillers to buy some time so that we can make next sentence. Please avoid using fillers, because if you use fillers, the chances are that the person with whom you are communicating, he or she will judge you. And when you use a lot of fillers, it shows that you are not a good speaker. You are not clear with your content. And how to avoid the usage of fillers? Well, there is one exercise which you could do. Again, you have such a beautiful friend with you, your mobile phone. Do not use it to only play on social media. It can be used to harness so many things. Record your audio. After that, speak upon any topic at random. After recording, just observe how you spoke. In between, you will be able to identify your own failures. What is something which you kept on repeating again and again? Write it down. Next time when you speak the word, give yourself a little punishment. Maybe today in the dinner, I will take less amount of food, because we are subjected to pain. Until and unless we do not receive pain, we do not learn anything new. This is the harsh reality. We cannot do anything about it. So if you give yourself short amount of pain, your mind will remember, because already the mindset is ready. Your mind will remember the pain. And the next time when you will use filler, the chances are you will immediately stop, because the experiences are there. A painful experience is there. Doesn't it happen that when we go through something and some painful experience happens with us, we immediately stop? For example, I met a lady. She said that, sir, in my childhood, I had fallen from my bicycle so many times. After that, I never tried my hand on riding any bike or bicycle. Painful experience, which stopped her for doing something which is quite normal for us. The same thing can be used positively to avoid usage of fillers. If you use something, give yourself a little bit pain, and from the next time you will remember the experience, your mind will remember the experience, and you will not make that mistake. Avoid using a lot of fillers. This is the technique. Let's move ahead. The next one is, yes, most important point. Complete your sentence first before thinking about what to say next. What happens that when we speak faster, or when we tend to get stressed, we try to make sentences after sentences without completing the first sentence. Please avoid it. That is why we always say that speak slowly, because when you speak slowly, you make complete sentences. You do not have to jump from one sentence to another. That is the problem which we do when it comes to speaking. Because while making one sentence, our mind keeps on busy thinking about the other sentence. What is going to come next? What is going to come next? And that is why neither we complete the first sentence nor we complete the second sentence. That is why. Once you complete one sentence, take a 2 or 3 seconds of pause. Taking pauses is okay. Taking pauses is really okay. If you take proper pauses, nobody is going to judge you. In fact, they will respect you, because good speakers take pauses. So speak one sentence completely, take pause. After that, speak the next sentence. Please complete your sentence first before thinking about what to say next. To get started, avoid using well, okay, the way I already talked about it, the fillers, the usage of fillers. Now let's move ahead with our next point. The next point is, cover up time to think of reasons. Do take frequent pauses, but not regular pauses. If you take frequent pauses, it is absolutely okay. What do we mean by pauses? 2 or 3 seconds of time you can buy, so that your mind could think of the sentence, the next sentence, so that you can speak without breaking your speech. This should be taken in a priority. Use this. Cover up time to think of reasons. Do not use fillers in between. Right now, if you observe me, I am using pauses in between because I do not want to use fillers. I have intentionally gave me some pain. And that's why I am talking from my own experience. That pain really works when it comes to avoiding fillers. So cover up time to think of reasons. And before we proceed, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to tell you one thing. that maybe in between the workshop, as in my area, some electricity disruption is going on. So the workshop might go off. So I will share another link immediately, and I would request all of you to immediately join the workshop back. Maybe I will be taking from my phone because right now it is going on in laptop and my charge is about to extinguish. So please be ready because I genuinely do not want anyone to leave out on anything. Let's move forward. The next one is repeat the lines with similar meanings. One of my most favorites. Repeat the lines with similar meanings. Now, what do we mean by that? Arindam, what do we mean by that? You might be thinking about this question. Repeat the lines with similar meanings simply mean. Let me give you one example. Arindam is a good speaker. Arindam is a good speaker. Arindam speaks nicely. Whatever Arindam speaks, he speaks great. Arindam speaks very wonderfully. I am speaking the same sentences, but I am speaking it in a different manner. This is called as repeat the lines with similar meanings. The idea is same, you are using different words, different sentence structures. Now, since the idea is same, automatically your mind will remember its usage. Best technique to learn English. You repeat the lines with similar meanings. If you keep on repeating the lines with similar meanings, your mind will gain the meaning and automatically you will learn grammar, structure, vocabulary and everything. Repeat the lines with similar meanings. One of the most important points. Being able to talk about variety of subjects. One of the most important skills, and in English we call it impromptu. Being able to talk about variety of subjects. So you should give yourself one task, or you already get the task from English Times. Every single day you get tasks on different subjects. So you should be potential enough to talk about variety of subjects, because if you start speaking on variety of subjects, your mind opens to unlimited possibilities. Since the mindset is prepared, the field is properly grazed. Now, whatever you sow, it will bloom. So, it is highly advised that you should take active participation. And that's why I always encourage people to come into club activities and take participation. Because if you are able to talk on variety of subjects, you will master the art of English speaking, not English speaking, public speaking as well. Because no matter wherever you go, if somebody asks you to talk about something, or maybe he or she asks you about your opinion, you would be in a position to at least talk about that topic. Now, grammar and vocabulary has nothing to do. You need to have idea about that topic. So ideas really matter. Of course, along with it, grammar and vocab comes. But before that, you need to have an idea about that topic. The next point is effective speed. Effective speed. I already talked about it. 125 to 130 words. Please write it down in your notebook. If you are speaking within this time frame and your word limit, if you are able to speak 125 to 130 words in a minute, consider yourself that you have qualified the first test. I already mentioned this as well, that the pace of speaking English should reach pace in your native language. This should be your top agenda. Speak on any topic in your native language, and on the very same topic, speak the same in English. And then again, compare how you are speaking on the same topic using different languages. You will figure out the difference. You will find out that in my native language what was going. Did I have any idea about that topic? In my native language, if I do not have idea, can I make sentences? Sometimes we punish ourselves without any reason. If you do not have idea, you cannot speak even in your native language as well. So why we can expect the same thing with English? Again, I talked about it. We need to work upon our mindset. The second point which I mentioned, listening and absorbing, very important. When you listen, do you listen only to just gather information, or do you absorb? Right now, I am speaking in front of you. I am expressing my viewpoints. Are you listening to me carefully? Are you absorbing? What do we mean by absorbing? Absorbing means take deep interest into what the speaker is speaking. You could watch any video on YouTube or anything. Gain ideas how to speak. Always work upon ideas. Do not work upon grammar at first. Initially, I'm talking about initially. Initially, if you put your focus on grammar, the chances are you will lose out the interest and you will face a lot of problem. So I recommend you initially go for ideas, go behind ideas. For example, if you are reading any book, now there will be so many words. If you are a beginner, there will be so many words which you encounter, and the chances are you do not know the meaning of them at all. Now, every single time if you open dictionary to look out for the meaning, after 30 minutes you will lose out your interest. And after that you will keep the book aside and you will say only one thing, that English is not possible for me. I am not comfortable in speaking this language. So always run behind ideas. Listen to the person. Maybe initially for a couple of days, it will be challenging for you to understand English speaking. But look behind the ideas. If you understand the idea, the chances are very soon you will be able to relate to this language and automatically you will learn this language. Let me give you an example. That way you will understand. For example, this is the menu. This is the menu. I go to one of the restaurants. This is the menu and I just read the menu. All of a sudden the waiter comes to me and asks, "Sir, what do you want?" Now in the menu, the problem is that each and everything is written in German. So I love German. So I went to German and over there I saw that, my God, everything is written in German. How can I order the food? And then this person, what he does, that he speaks to me with his body language. "Sir, do you want water?" He will show me like this. Or he can also show me through his body language that, "Do you want like anything? Do you want me to help?" He could explain about the food with his body language. And through his body language, I will get the idea. Maybe let's say there is something, pizza is written in German. If I ask him what is it, maybe he could tell me, "Sir, this round." So I will understand easily, isn't it? This is called listening and absorbing. Look behind the idea. Look behind the idea. Do not go behind the words. If you look the idea, automatically you will get the words. So whenever from now onwards you are watching any video or reading any book, do not immediately go and look for the meaning of the vocab, or else you will take maybe an year to finish one book. Look behind the idea. Reread that book once, like 5 times. You can read the book and again. Once you get the idea, you will remember the vocabulary. Believe me, practically on practical grounds, I am telling you. Now let's go into the next one. I hope you are enjoying. Let's go into the next one. That is, don't be afraid of making mistakes. Well, this is the most common mistake which we do, that when it comes to mistakes, we get, don't be afraid of making mistakes means, let's say I am using fillers in between and somebody comments that you are not a good speaker. You are using so many fillers. You are not using appropriate vocabulary. It is okay. It is okay. Take it lightly. When we take it as an ego, that how could he say to me like this? That is where the problem begins. That's why in the first step in the mindset, I talked about it. Accept that you make mistakes. And when you learn something new, don't you make mistakes? When you learned how to drive a car, maybe many of you know how to drive a car. Didn't you make mistake? So then when it comes to English, why do you pull your legs back? Why are you afraid of making mistakes? Please do not repeat this from today onwards. Make mistakes, but do not make repeated mistakes. This is my advice. Make mistakes, Take feedback, but do not make repeated mistakes. That is my only advice. My God, this is very simple. The next point, yet difficult to master. Be proud and happy. Be proud that at least you have taken one step ahead. There are lakhs and crores of people. And to be honest, let me tell you by my own experience. Recently, I went into my YouTube analytics. You know, we have our YouTube channel. I went into the analytics and I was surprised to see, even today, I got one email from YouTube that your content is being viewed 75% of the times in America. 75% of the times in America, then India. Now think of it. Being a native speaker, being a native English speaker, even they do watch our content. And YouTube definitely is not going to lie, because it shows clear image of what the analytics is all about. So it is a proud moment. So they are open to learning. They always remain happy. They are open to learn. They do not bother whether they are learning anything from India or from any country. And that's why they speak English fluently. But what happens with us, that at first we go and join any place thinking that within a day or two we will learn English speaking. No, my dear. I guess today someone said that success or happiness is not a destination, it is a journey. And when it is a journey, English speaking, my dear friends, it is also a journey. So be proud and happy. Be proud that at least you are, and believe me, mark my words, after America, India is the second place. You can go and check on Google. India is the second place where English is the mostly spoken language. After America, believe me, go and check in Wikipedia or maybe in Google. English is the second country where English is spoken most of the times. As per the census, it is around 13%. And in America, it was somewhere, absolutely, America is the first one and according to census 2011, it was 23%, not 13%. And still, you know how Indian census work. Even there are great speakers who speak English, but they were not counted, or else the percentage could have grown. So always be proud and happy that you are living in a country where English is the second most popular language in worldwide. And you are 100 times better than other people in other countries. We have attended so many foreign classes as well. We have seen how pathetic their situation is. So be proud and happy. Practice and record yourself. That is what I emphasize every single time. That let's say if you practice in front of mirror. Now please be honest. Tell me, that is it that the mirror is going to give you feedback? No, mirror is not going to give you any feedback. Let's take another example. You are traveling by train, and while sitting, you want to experience the speed of the train. Is it going to happen? To experience the speed of the train, you have to get out of the train and you have to observe. Then only you will be able to figure out what the speed of the train is all about. Because the train will just fly away in front of you from your eyesight. So if you want to learn something, you have to get out from the process. Get out from the process means you have to check as an observer. Now when you practice in front of mirror, there is no one to give you feedback. But when you record your video, what happens? That later on when you check your video, initially my suggestion is speak on any topic at random. After that, watch your video. At first, mute your audio and observe your body language. Second, after that, you can unmute your audio and then check how your vocal ability is. And third, you can check how the entire speech went. This is called self-analysis, feedback. Now you are not the part of the process, you are out of the process. Now you are looking at yourself and you are giving yourself feedback. This is called actual English learning. When you go out from the process and you give yourself feedback. And this is a simple gadget. It will take hardly 2 minutes to record your video. Don't we deserve at least 2 minutes to put aside for our English speaking? I believe so. If we want to learn English, then 2 minutes is something which we need to take out. And by the way, I want to tell one fact. According to Albert Rabino, I will share the name in the group, in your respective groups. You can also check out your content. The what you speak only credits to 7%. Your content only matters 7%. Your body language matters to 55%. And if I talk about your vocal quality, it contributes to around 38%. 55% body language, 38% your vocal quality, which we call as accent or pronunciation. And the third one is content, which you speak. It only contributes to around 7%. We always work upon content, 7%, but we ignore the 93%, which actually makes you a good speaker. So that is where your video recording comes into play. English is not about speaking. English is all about improving your entire personality. You have to work on your body language, which contributes to 55%. I will share the study, and this professor was from Harvard University. You know how reputed the place is, the university is. 38% contributes to your audio, the way you speak, and only 7% contributes to your content. So start working upon those 93%. And in that 93%, mindset is also one of the factors, which I talked about earlier. Let's look into the next aspect, which is structure your speech. Structure your speech simply means that do not go out of the topic. If you're asked to speak upon something, you should stick to the topic. Usually what happens that if we get any topic, apart from topic, we end up speaking so many things. And of course, again, in this as well, grammar and vocab has nothing to do until and unless you do not have idea about the topic. So structure your speech. How is it going to happen? The best way to improve structuring your speech is, I'm not talking about parts of speech, by the way, simple speech, the way you speak. The best way to master this technique is read as much as possible. In fact, in English Times these days, reading session, we are putting a lot of emphasis on reading as well. Thanks to Miss Anita, because she bought this idea, this concept. Structure your speech. So when you structure your speech, so when you read your books, it helps you to understand how to frame the sentences. And while reading, it is a subconscious process. Again, if you learn vocab, grammar, you will not master this thing. You will have to go into the, like, for example, if you want to learn swimming, what you do? Do you read books about swimming, or do you just go and start swimming? The same thing happens with speaking as well. So you have to swim, you have to dive into the book, you have to learn what the author wants to say. You have to you should spend at least 15 to 20 minutes in your reading. And if you do that continuously, believe me, automatically you will get what you wanted. These days what happens that we run behind phrases, that I need to learn phrases, I will have to plus we need to as first form of verb. My God, there are lakhs of phrases. Would you be able to learn lakhs of phrases, and would you be able to put it into use? No. But if you read books, subconsciously your mind will pick the idea and automatically it will start coming out of your mouth. It happened with our native language when we were young. Didn't it happen that we learned the language by listening and absorbing? Because we were attentive listeners at that time. We didn't run behind any Hindi phrases. We didn't learn any Hindi phrases. Yet before going to school, we were already well versed with our native language. Then why English is different? My dear, English is not a different. English is also a language. So treat it as a language. Now think in English. Most important points, and if possible, I would request all of you to write down these points. How to think in English. How to think in English. At first, start thinking about the words which are around you. For example, I always give this example that if you have any object, let's say pen. So do not say in Hindi kalam. Kalam rakha hua hai. You can think in English that okay, pen. This is phone or maybe mobile. This is book. Instead of saying that this is kitab, you can think that book. So make sentences or make words of the objects which you are surrounded with. This is almirah. This is shirt. This is waistcoat. This is a spectacle. My hairs. So flawless hairs are there. My skin is not bright, I know, but still it looks bright, isn't it? Today I'm looking handsome, by the way. Okay. The next one is sentences. Sentences related to your work, wherever you work. You know your work very well. Start making sentences in your mind, of course. Work related sentences. Let's say if you write letters, so you should say, I write letter instead of saying मैं पत्र लिखता हूँ. I write letters. I communicate with my management. I pass on the information from my superiors to my juniors. I work for 9 hours a day. These are work related sentences, very small, short sentences, which you can start making and speaking to yourself in English. General work related sentences. Third one is sentences in general. For example, you come across anything which is a general topic. Let's say this is my phone. We have so many applications. So you can start speaking about this phone, that I have this MI. MI means, you know, that Xiaomi. And it is of, the size is quite considerable. There are so many applications. I use my phone for almost 10 hours a day. I take my sessions over here. I do browsing. I surf on internet. I play with Facebook and WhatsApp and other social media. You can start making general sentences about the objects which you are surrounded. Start making general sentences. It will train your mind to think in English. It will not come in a day. Of course, it will happen one day. And last but not the least, think about incidents. Let's say, for example, while you are traveling somewhere, you can think about any incident. Maybe if I talk about mine, so I always speak about the incident, the incident where I failed the interview, or the incident where I realized that I need to go for English speaking as a teaching profession. So you can start thinking about the incidents, because incidents are something which are particular to you. Only you faced that incident. So you can start making sentences in English using that incident. Now I will go fast forward because we are falling short of time. The next one is talk to yourself. You should talk to yourself. Every single time you should speak with yourself in English only, not in Hindi. Start doing this. Personally, I love it. Start doing, stop being shy. This is your issue. This is the most important thing where you need to work. Start doing, stop being shy. When I usually see that people, when they have to make video, they come up with so many excuses. I do not have time, I cannot make it, or I cannot turn on my video because I feel shy. Why is it so? No one is going to beat you, isn't it? Start doing, stop being shy, because if you do not start, then you will still be there. Water will, just like the way once you keep the water in a vessel and you do not use the water stagnates, the quality of water decreases, and so your quality of English will decrease until and unless you do not start to put it in front of camera. And do not, again we talked about it, do not be afraid of making mistakes, because every single time when we start something, we always try to make the things perfect, and to achieve that perfection we do not even start. And by the way, I would like to tell that there is nothing called perfection. Every single day, Cambridge University adds 3000 vocabulary. Every single day. Crores of vocabs are there. Now, if you feel that if you can learn crores of vocabulary, well, congratulations. But it is not possible. But yes, you should know about appropriate vocabs, which we share with you, of course. So you need to know only the appropriate vocab. So what I mean to say that do not do not go behind perfection. Your sole agenda should be keep on learning, keep on doing. You will make mistakes. Admire yourself that at least you tried. And the more you speak, the better you become. Tongue twisters, you can go for it if you really need to work upon pronunciation. Then tongue twisters is something which you need to consider. For example, here as it is written that a big black bug bit a big black bear, made the big black bear bleed blood. Automatically, if you speak this tongue twister again and again, the pronunciation or the sound of B will be clear. Start using tongue twisters because it is really going to help you a lot when it comes to your pronunciation. And English is not a language. Oh, I'm so sorry. Pardon me. English is a language and not a subject. Usually what happens that when it comes to English, we treat it as a subject. What do we mean by subject? The way we used to read or we used to study English during our schooling. The same approach we follow when it comes to English language. We open up the grammar books, we open up the dictionary. Don't you think it is the same approach which we used to follow during our schooling days? Do not follow. English is a language and language is a skill. Language is not a subject. And how we learn skill? By practicing, by doing it. You cannot learn driving by reading a book. You need to sit inside the car, you need to practice, and then only you will be able to drive the car. I would request whosoever has unmuted yourself, kindly mute yourself, my dear, because some disturbance is created. Yeah, okay, thank you. Stop being a student. Now, what do we mean by that? Stop being a student. It does not mean that you should not learn English. Stop being a student means stop being an English subject student. Stop being a school student. Do not read English. Speak English. What do we mean by that? As in the earlier point, I talked about it. Do not become a philosopher in English. Be a speaker of English. How is it going to happen? By practicing. Stop being a student. Of course, you should be a student when it comes to learning, but not the way we learned in school days. Because if that would have been the case, then all of us would be a perfect speaker. Because from our class 1st till 12th, at least one subject was there, that is English. We read about it, yet we cannot speak. Why? Because we treated English as a subject. And when it comes to speaking, it is a language, not a subject. How we learn language? By speaking, by practicing, by making mistakes. So embrace mistakes. Get more out of listening. When you listen to someone, somebody or something, try to make notes. As I said, try to go behind the idea. Right now you are listening to me. Keep on taking notes. If you feel that there is something which you can learn from me, write it. Or if you feel that sir has done something and I could do better than it, please write it. Get more out of listening. Then the next one is don't study grammar too much. As I already talked about it, that initially, if you start with grammar, the chances are your focus will shift from speaking to studying. And there is a big difference between speaking and studying. You should start speaking at first, and then learn grammar. Because once you start speaking, once you start making sentences, once you feel confident that yes, now you can speak no matter right or wrong, and then if you learn grammar, you will feel good about yourself. That, oh my God, earlier I used to speak it in a wrong manner, but right now I have corrected it. You will gain confidence. But once you start learning grammar at first, then the same grammar will become your enemy. Because then you will keep on thinking that, my God, so many rules are there. How can I speak? And I guess this is what we do at English Times. Believe in yourself. One of the most important thing, my dear friends, believe in yourself. Now let me go through the slides faster. Read full sentences. Of course, you should read full sentences. When it comes to reading as well, do not jump or do not try to, do not try to skip any sentences. Read full sentences, because the way you read, the way you speak. Speed reading. What do we mean by speed reading? No. Speed reading does not mean that you should just keep on reading without any pause. Speed reading simply means you should match the target which we talked about, 125 to 130 words every single minute. That should be the target of your speaking, your reading. So speed reading is all about that. Identify pauses. Please identify pauses. If you take unnecessary pauses in between, for example, right now, if pause is there, so long pauses if you will take, the audience will feel disconnected. So please identify pauses, and at least 2 or 3 seconds of pause is okay, but not more than that, or else your mind will completely go blank. So try it. Form simple sentences. One of the most important things. Do not go behind complex sentences. Form simple sentences. You can form long sentences, but simple sentences, not complex sentences. Start with simple sentences. Gradually, eventually, you will go to the advanced level. So form simple sentences in the beginning. Then you can start making, of course, complex sentences. Encourage interaction. Now, what I would like all of you to do from today onwards, look for one accountability partner. Accountability partner means with somebody after the session with whom you can connect on phone call, and you could speak with that person for at least 5 or 10 minutes. That way, you will be able to communicate and learn English beyond your classes. Look for accountability partner. There are so many batchmates which English Times provides you with. Go for any particular person with whom you feel that your tuning is quite good, and every single day at least take 5 minutes of time, speak with that person. Maybe you will end up making a very good bonding. Encourage interaction. Identify speaking errors. For that I already talked about it, that how to identify pauses. Shubham, you asked how to identify pauses. My dear, I already covered this point. I guess you were not there. So you should record your videos, and when you record your video, observe, and once you observe, automatically you will identify pause. So please, I would request you to go through the recording of the video, so you will get to know about it. So I already covered that in the previous slide. Now the next one is understand. It is as easy as your native language. Do not make any assumptions in your mind that, my God, English is something which I cannot speak. Please do not make any assumptions like this. English is a language, and just like any other language, you can learn it. Groups, at least 2 people, which I already talked about, that when it comes to accountability partner, the thing which I already shared with you, look for accountability partner with whom you could speak. Econ Club is there. Every single Saturday you could come, you could speak, and you could exchange your ideas. You can gain so many ideas. Share content. Maybe with your accountability partner, you could share the content that today it was the assignment. How this is what I am going to speak. What is your idea? Maybe you could club the ideas together and you could be able to speak in a better way. Then talk to your close ones in English. Let's say I am a big brother and I have a little sister. My little sister doesn't understand how to speak English. But if I continuously start speaking with her, initially she will laugh. But later on, she will start imitating me and she will learn English. The same way you should also do with your family members. Maybe they will laugh. Make them laugh, as I talked about. Become shameless. Feel happy that at least you are making sentences in English, and by this way you are making them learn English, isn't it? And of course, laughter is something which is quite extinct these days. So please make others laugh. English is evolving constantly. Every single day, as I talked about it, 3,000 vocabs, 3 to 6,000 vocabs are getting added. So do not think about speaking English perfectly. Speak English, automatically you will perfect. Automatically you will be perfect. So English is evolving constantly. That's why I always say, do not treat English as a subject, treat English as a language. Repetition is equal to retention. Repeat, keep on repeating the sentences, vocabs which you learn. Every day, I guess 5 or 10 vocabs you should learn. So if you keep on repeating, if you keep on speaking those sentences, automatically you become perfect. And the more you repeat something, the chances are that it is going to retain for long. Identify the topics or situation that you face on daily basis. Maybe let's say if I have to go and catch a bus, so let me make sentences in that only, that at first I go out, then I take e-rickshaw, after that I go to bus stand, then I take bus. So identify the topics and situation that you face on daily basis and start making sentences. So this is the session all about. Now, before ending, I would like to tell all of you one thing. That once somebody asked me, what is the value of this bottle? I had this bottle at that time, and somebody asked me, sir, what is the value of that bottle? And I was quite shocked that what kind of question is this? What is the value of that bottle? But later on, and in fact, one of my mentors asked me this question, but later on, I kept on thinking about this and I got the answer. Let's say I am not thirsty. For me, the value of this bottle will be zero. The water inside the bottle will be zero because I am not thirsty. I do not need this water. I am full. But ask the person who is in the desert. He will pay thousands of rupees for the very same amount of water because because they face scarcity of water. So for them, it is going to be 1,000 rupees. So here, the amount of thirst determines its value. Amount of thirst. Let's say if I go to any mall, I have eaten, I am full, like my stomach is full. And if you ask me what is the value of that food in front of me, zero. Because I am already full, I do not want any food. But if I am hungry, I could end up spending 400 rupees in that mall. Maybe my pocket doesn't allow me, but still I will end up spending because I am hungry. So quantity of my hunger determines the quality, like the value of that food. And the same way is with English. So the quality of your the quantity of your struggle determines the quantity of your success. The quantity of your struggle determines the quantity of success. Just like the quantity of thirst determines the value of water, the same way the quantity of struggle that you put in to learn English determine the quantity of your success in English speaking. So we talked about the mindset, we talked about why we should learn English, and then we talked about the third container, the dumbbell practices that we need to become fluent in English. That's all from my side. Now the session is open for Q&A. As I promised, 15 minutes will be given to you so that you can ask any questions. So do you have any questions, anyone? I know it's quite late. Yeah, Gaurav.
So, sir, my question is very simple one. When I read the novel, so what happens? I just underline the good vocab or the good sentences. So I think I actually plan to actually write it down later on. But when I start reading a novel, so I just I just keep reading and I just end it. I don't note down all these things. So it is okay if I go for another novel. So it would help me out, or I should write it down for sure. As you said that there is no need of noting down everything. And should I ask the second question too, or later?
Okay. Let me answer this at first. Okay. So to be honest, always remember, Gaurav, that initially right now our sole agenda behind reading book is not to entertain us, but to learn from that book. And for that matter, repetition is equal to retention. So as per the study, you should read a book at least 4 times if you really want to memorize the vocabulary. 4 times. If you continuously read the book 4 times, you don't need to remember vocabulary, you will get an idea. First question. This answers to your first question. Yeah.
I would like to add something into this.
Yeah.
What happens when we read a novel? So we just lose the interest and we
Hmm.
don't feel like to read it again. So it would be better, according to me now, as you answered this, to write it down, like at the end of like when I complete the novel. Second
Absolutely.
question is about when we read something on the novel or like in any book. So should we speak up? We should not read it in our mind only. Should we speak up to like improve on our? Yeah, should we speak up just to
Absolutely.
like just to emphasis on our pronunciation? Should we do that, or it is okay? Does it help? As people
Absolutely.
say that we should speak up while.
Absolutely, it helps. You should read. You should read. Very nice. This is one of the good suggestions which Mr. Gaurav gave, that when it comes to book reading, speak aloud. Absolutely, Gaurav, it is correct. And that's why I talked about it. Speed reading. If you read in your mind, of course, it is going to be very fast. But as soon as you start speaking, automatically your agenda should be to reach 125 to 130 words. That's why. Make sure that initially, of course, it will be a challenge for you to reach the target of 125 to 130. But as soon as you realize that, yes, I have reached, then after that you can focus on reading and gaining idea, not vocab, gaining idea. You can mark the vocab, but gain the idea behind it. Idea is what that matters. Idea. Okay.
Idea in the sense, the sense of the vocab.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, sir.
Sense of
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because maybe milk, again, I gave this example earlier, milk, though the word is same, but its meaning varies depending upon the context. Milk means
We are milking the cow.
we are milking the cow, means we are taking the milk out of cow. So
Yeah.
always go behind the idea, not the words. That is my suggestion. Yes.
Thank you.
Is there any question, anyone? Is there any question? So how was the session, by the way? I would like to know, how was the session? Is it possible? Can anyone give me any feedback? How was it?
It was interesting session.
It was an interesting session. Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Yes,
So it was the most
Wonderful
interesting
session.
session till now.
Okay. Thank you, Gaurav. Yes, Hemlata.
Sorry, it is a very wonderful session. Many doubts clear. How to learn to speak English. Many doubts clear. Thank you so much, sir.
Arindam sir,
Yes,
I
Miss
have a
Mayanka.
question.
Yes, Miss Mayanka.
Like I am a regular reader for years, reading books in the morning, in the night. But the problem with me is, and I mark out the words also. Some vocabulary I really like, and in my Kindle, their option is also there when I can get the meaning of that word. But it has been for years, Arindam sir, now, but I am not able to use that particular vocabulary in my day-to-day conversation. I don't know, but I find it very difficult. Maybe you will ask the meaning of that. I would know because I'm reading that words now and then for years now. But when I speak English, I am not able to I'm not able to bring new vocabulary into my conversation. That is the problem with me.
Absolutely. Very nice question. In fact, this is the question which I also think of sometimes, that how to use the vocabs. That's why I always encourage everyone. Do not learn new vocab until and unless you have attained the mastery of using the existing vocab. And I guess in my sessions as well, I talked about it last week only, that what happens, and I guess Miss Mona Lisa, if she is there, because it was her question. So the thing is that when we go behind learning new vocabs, what happened? That already we have ample amount of vocabs in our vocab bucket list, which we do not even use. And if we add new vocab into that, what happens? That we not only forget those two vocabs, the vocabs which we studied earlier, but we forget the new vocabs as well. So my advice or my suggestion would be to keep on speaking, to keep on practicing the existing vocabs which you already has, And I encourage you, Miss Mayanka, do not give up, because this is what I talked about in the session. Do not give up. Do not give up. English is not a subject, English is a language. So enjoy it, embrace it, be happy and be proud that yes, at least you know better than before. Of course, vocab, like inculcating vocab is going to be a time taking process. There's no doubt in it. But do it. Keep on doing it and you will enjoy.
Yeah, Arindam.
Yes, yes, Miss Anita.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to know one thing. Generally, what happens whenever we go for any presentation or any workshop? So, will it be we should go with the normal, normal vocabulary or normal words, or we always try that to give some new vocabulary or some new words? What would be the right way to give the presentation?
Okay, what would be the right way to give presentation? So when it comes to presentation, we need to go into the root of the question. The question is presentation. And when we give presentation to do two things. Either we inspire our juniors or we influence our seniors. We inspire our juniors or we influence our seniors. And for that to happen, what you need to have a deep understanding of the content which you are about to deliver. So you should focus more on the content in presentation rather than vocabulary. Because if you use extensive vocabulary and if your juniors could not understand or could not tune in with you, the chances are after a certain point of time they will lose interest. Because in presentation, what is important is conveying our idea. And if your idea
yes, thank you so much, Arindam. I have added one more question here.
Yes.
Though, Arindam, as you know that I have heard about these things that people really attracted towards the vocabulary. Oh wow, she is a good speaker because she or he added this kind of the vocabulary. So how it is correct and how it is going far? Because I have heard about so many times that people really added this kind of the quality, and people added this kind of the things in their subject. So how far it is good and how far it is actually working? Can I give me an idea about this?
Very nice. So in this case, what is the scenario? That growth is something which is the nature, which is actually a natural process. We should grow every single day. Now, initially, and here I would like to add one more thing, that here I would like to add little bit grammar. Initially, our first agenda should be speaking. Once you start speaking, and once you feel that right now you are good in making sentences, you have ideas to speak upon, then focus upon grammar, because you need to speak very correctly. If you use tenses incorrectly, the chances are, again, no matter what vocab you use, people will laugh at you. And once you have a good command over grammar, once you feel that right now you are making good sentences, you have a good command over grammar, then the third stage is nothing but your vocabulary. Now you can go for vocabulary. I'm not saying that learning new vocab is not a good thing. Absolutely, it is a good thing. It makes you a very competent speaker. But first, qualify these two stages. At first, how to make sentences, how to speak in fluently. Fluently speaking simply does not mean that you have to speak without making any grammatical errors. No. Whatever the topic that you get, you should speak upon that. First step. Second one is focus on grammar. You should know grammar in such a way that at least you make appropriate sentences without making any grammatical error. For example, instead of using to home, if you use on home, though the vocabularies are good, you have good vocab, but if you use wrong grammar, again people will laugh at you. Once you have a good command over grammar, after that you can target for vocabulary. Then you can go for big vocabulary because you have nothing to worry about. Your grammar is clear, you know how to make sentences. Now your mind will be more free and it will try to grab new words and it will learn faster. So this is the answer to your question, Miss Anita.
Thank you so much, Arindam. Thank you so much. I'll definitely keep on note, and I'll definitely will try. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I hope, my God, I took so much of time, everyone. I'm so sorry. Since the topic was vast, so that session went long. But I genuinely want to thank all of you to stay till the end. And yes, Miss Mona Lisa,
So I
would you
want to
like
say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So really an ocean full of thanks to you. All my queries are very well answered today. It was really a very wonderful session. I enjoyed a lot. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And I hope this session will answer so many queries. And one more thing I would like to tell, especially since Ms. Mayanka asked this question, and to all of you, I would like to tell that in future, maybe not in December, for that you need to wait for the new year. When it comes to new year, so Miss Anita will be conducting session on one of the very prominent sessions, which is going to be on vocabulary, grammar and pronunciation. Vocabulary, grammar and pronunciation. So at that time the topic will be taken care of. That's why in the beginning I gave you two examples, that when it comes to query, we always think about the present moment and the future moment initially in the beginning. So this is what right now presently, whatever questions that you had, I tried my best to resolve it. Maybe if you have any questions you can ask, and in future there is a session on vocab, pronunciation and grammar, and of course none other than Miss Sanita is going to conduct that session. So this is our future declaration. For that, it is a new year gift, so you have to stay with English Times till that, so then only you will get to know the secrets. Okay. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. It really means a lot that you stayed till 9 p.m. My God. So please go have your dinner. You will get the recording of the video. That's all. God bless you, everyone. Bye. Take care. Good night.